Bradley with News Nation, and we were boots on the ground for the Vice President's first trip down to the southern border in his new role in the Trump administration. And we were able to ask a couple of questions to the Vice President. We asked him if the terrorist designation allows the United States to go into Mexico and strike the Mexican cartels on their territory, and what that would look like. Here's what he said.
In the back, yeah.
Mr. Vice President, Ali Bradley, News Nation. So since the designation of the cartels as terrorists, does that give the United States the green light to go into Mexico and to strike them there? I mean, right now, obviously, they've struck in the Houthis in Yemen. So why not, when we've seen cross-border violence, go after them in Mexico? And then my second question is about a designation. I'll follow up on these.
Go ahead and ask the second question.
Why isn't the Juarez/La Línea cartel designated when it's in one of the most deadliest places on the planet? Juarez has been designated as one of the deadliest cities. It's right across from El Paso. We've talked to community leaders. They say, we know Juarez cartel's operating in the U.S. and so are their affiliates. We don't even want to talk about it out loud, though, because then we'll put a target on our back. They're scared. Border Patrol even thought they were designated, but they're not. The State Department didn't tell me why.
So on that, we're looking at additional organizations. Obviously, this is the determination of whether to determine a particular organization, a terrorist organization, is something that we consult with our leaders of the Department of Defense. We also consult with our friends in other governments. We maintain the optionality to designate further organizations, terrorist organizations, if we feel that we need to in order to protect the American people. And I think President Trump has made it very clear he's not going to be shy about designating some of these cartel organizations as terrorists if he thinks he has to protect the American people. Your first question was about
American forces to strike.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So look, I'm not going to make any announcements about any invasions of Mexico here today. The president has a megaphone, and of course, he'll speak to these issues as he feels necessary. But what designating cartel organizations allows us to do is deploy the full resources of the United States military to engage in serious border enforcement. Of course, the president is going to make the determination about how we deploy those forces. But our hope is that Mexico takes this job seriously. We don't want to have negative relationships with the Mexican government. We want the Mexican government to help itself, but also in the process to help the American people by taking these organizations seriously. It's going to destabilize the entire country of Mexico, the entire government, if they don't take it more seriously. We're hopeful that they will. And if they don't, then of course, we'll figure out what to do from there.
Now, the reason I asked that question specifically is because when we were boots on the ground in El Paso last week, we actually talked with law enforcement, we talked with Border Patrol, we talked with community leaders, and they all told us that that cartel should be designated as a foreign terrorist organization because of its proximity to that dangerous city, because the Juarez cartel essentially runs Juarez, again, which has been designated as one of the most deadliest places on the planet. When we told Border Patrol that they were not designated, they were actually shocked and surprised because they feel that they should be. They feel that that would add a layer of protection for them because right now they're essentially sitting ducks for the criminal cartels. Now, when we talked with community leaders, they said they don't want to talk about it on camera because they know the Juarez cartel, La Línea cartel, they have affiliates and family members, and they too are operating and living in El Paso. So they said if we go out and openly say they need to be designated, then that would put a target on our back. So that threat has been enough to keep them quiet on the U.S. side when it comes to this terrorist designation. Of course, J.D. Vance says that is something that they don't discuss openly about these deliberations. When we talked to the State Department, that is what they told us. So we have not gotten an answer yet, but it doesn't look like they're done designating these groups. So we might see them on the list down the road.